So how about the real world evidence of the Mediterranean diet? Let's look at the blue zones of the longest lived people in the world. So number one is Icaria, Greece. The Mediterranean diet is a traditional dietary pattern in Greece and is likely a contributing factor to the longevity of the people in Icaria. In addition to the Mediterranean diet, the people of Icaria also practice intermittent fasting, which has been shown to have health benefits, and we'll discuss towards the end of the presentation. Next is Sardinia, Italy. The traditional Sardinian diet is very similar to the Mediterranean diet, with an emphasis on whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables. However, the Sardinian diet also includes unique foods such as pecorino cheese and goat milk, which are consumed in moderation. Number three is the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. And the traditional diet of the Nicoyan people is largely plant-based, with a focus on beans, corn, and squash, as well as fruits such as mangoes, papayas, and guavas. The Nicoyan diet is also low in meat and dairy, which is consistent with the Mediterranean diet. Number four is Loma Linda, California. And while the Loma Linda community is not located in the Mediterranean region, many members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church who live in Loma Linda follow a vegetarian or semi-vegetarian diet that is similar to the Mediterranean diet. This dietary pattern emphasizes plant-based foods such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, and limits the consumption of meat and dairy. And finally, number five is Okinawa, Japan. The traditional Okinawan diet is low in calories and high in nutrient-dense foods such as sweet potatoes, leafy greens, soy products, and fish. And while the Okinawan diet is not strictly Mediterranean, it shares many similarities with the Mediterranean diet in terms of its emphasis on plant-based foods and limited consumption of red meat. So what are the scientific benefits of the diet? What makes the diet so good? Well, number one is improved cardiovascular health. The Mediterranean diet has been associated with reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, such as heart attacks and strokes, and it outperforms low-fat diets in reducing the risk of cardiovascular events. It has a lower risk of type 2 diabetes. So adherence to the Mediterranean diet is linked to better blood sugar control and a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Weight management and obesity prevention. So the Mediterranean diet promotes long-term weight loss and maintenance. Number four is reduced cancer risk. So a higher adherence to the Mediterranean diet is associated with a reduced risk of various types of cancers. For example, colorectal cancer, breast, and prostate cancers. It improves cognitive function and it reduces the risk for neurodegenerative diseases. If you're seeing a trend here, these are diseases of aging. The Mediterranean diet is associated with better cognitive function, reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease, and slower cognitive decline. And number six, enhanced mood and mental health. Adherence to the Mediterranean diet is linked to a reduced risk of depression and improved mental health. Number seven, increased longevity and reduced mortality. The Mediterranean diet is associated with reduced overall mortality and increased life expectancy. It outperforms low-fat and low-carb diets in reducing all-cause mortality. Finally, eight, nutrient diversity. Mediterranean diet has a wide diversity of natural foods, which reduces the amount of nutrient deficiencies as compared to other diets, and it increases microbiome health and related benefits. And compliance. So what good is a diet if you don't follow it? The Mediterranean diet is more agreeable than most other diets, which means that it has a higher adherence and lower dropout rates. So how does the Mediterranean diet impact the latest technology in longevity research, that being epigenetic biological age tests? There's evidence there as well. So there is a study published in Geroscience which said, quote, "Our results therefore suggest that the Mediterranean-like diet has a pure rejuvenating impact on the biological clock, and that this result is unconfounded by a potential effect of the intervention on the immune system." In other words, it also improved the immune system, and that's not the only reason why, or the only way that this improved biological aging. So the dietary factors that improve epigenetic age have been found to be fish consumption, fruit and vegetable consumption, poultry consumption specifically for the immune system's biological age, And then DNA maintenance cofactors. These are examples of these are vitamin B12, folate, et cetera. And then what's bad for it? Well, high insulin and or glucose, which go hand in hand. High C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker. High body mass index and waist to hip ratio. High triglycerides. High systolic blood pressure, and low HDL cholesterol. If we dig a little bit deeper in, if you control the intake of 8 dietary components, specifically increasing vegetables, increasing fruits, increasing nuts and legumes, increasing whole grains, low-fat dairy, as opposed to full-fat dairy, but we'll talk more about dairy soon, reducing red and processed meats, reducing sugar-sweetened beverages, and reducing sodium, results in lower biological ages for 3 of the latest epigenetic clocks. Number 1, the most powerful 3rd generation clock, the do need and pace clock, declines from following these components. Number 2, Grim age, which is a 2nd generation clock, very accurate. And number 3, the pheno age clock.